Hey there, Deal here with Pacific Sun Technology. So I've been working on a spreadsheet to show the value of owning a solar system with batteries and an electric vehicle, because there are quite a bit of advantages to owning both together and charging basically from home on a regular basis. Whether it's from the solar or from the grid, you're going to earn enough credits to offset that electric vehicle under the solar billing program. And if you're under Edison or SDG&E, they have specific utility rate structures for you to charge your EV during super off-peak times to use those credits. So it really balances out and you end up saving a lot more that sadly a lot of our proposal software that we use doesn't really account for, which the main extra savings is obviously the cost of fuel from owning an electric vehicle, because you're no longer having to go to the gas station to purchase gasoline or diesel. So that should be something that should be taken into account. So I've been working on this proposal for quite a bit of time, and then recently my wife and I purchased an electric vehicle. So now I have some real data to put to this proposal and kind of show you how much more you can save by owning a solar system, having batteries, and purchasing an electric vehicle, because that trifecta really just knocks it out of the ballpark. So let's kind of start with my spreadsheet and what I've put together. So I've created some factors down here in the section, because depending on your utility rate, you will have different costs. So Edison has a different cost than SDG&E, and then also, I put in some different costs for fuel that you can kind of take into account, which is really nice. I kind of did some averaging, so I didn't just go all out, but the EV rate is definitely lower than the average home utility rate during the day when you're using power, during the evenings, during that big time of use period. I did put in an average mile per gallon. I will probably make this spreadsheet available, so there'll be a link down in the description below if you want to check it out and play with it yourself and see how much more you would save by owning a solar system with batteries and having an electric vehicle. Keep in mind, you do need to get a quote from us, so that way you have some some data to input into the proposal. And I've designed two criteria in this option, as you can see along the top. I'm going to do an N-phase storage system as an estimate, so basically no backup capabilities. And then I'm going to use the Canadian Solar EP Cube system as my backup reference, because that's a much more premium battery that has a longer life. So it does cost a little more than N-phase, but if you're going to go backup, I kind of feel that's a better direction, but everybody's site's a little different. So just get a quote and we can discuss those things. Now over here is the details on the electric vehicle. So I have it set to SCE. The kilowatt hours per mile is really important to keep in mind. Now for the Audi Q8 e-tron Sportback, it's going to be around 0.4 kilowatt hours per mile. It's not the most efficient electric vehicle. Tesla definitely makes some that are more efficient, as does the Lucid Air long range or Grand Tour. I mean, that thing, I think it's like 500 miles on a full charge. So every electric vehicle is a little different. This is a number you'll definitely want to look up, and then how many miles you drive per year. But this data kind of gives you an understanding of how much electricity you need, because when you go electric, if you don't have a solar and a battery system, you've eliminated your fuel expense from gas, but now you have an electricity cost to associate with it. And you actually will find that the difference between the cost of fuel and electricity as it continues to rise is getting smaller and smaller. And that's why I'm factoring in the fact that you're actually, when you go solar with batteries, you're saving both of these. You're not having to buy electricity and you're not having to buy gas. So you're saving twice as much by owning an electric car with a solar system. And then of course you have your home, so you want to put in that information. I put in the square footage of a property, so that way you can kind of get an idea of the kilowatt hours per square foot for your home. I think that's some valuable information that we should be paying more close attention to moving forward as we really focus on a renewable future. So in this scenario, we're looking at an EV with 15,000 miles, low, modest efficiency, so it needs about 6,000 kilowatt hours a year to fully charge on a regular basis. The home itself that we're designing is around our average home that we're seeing, is which around 6,864 kilowatt hours. That's an average monthly cost with Edison's utility rate at $263. If we switch this over to SDG&E, that same energy costs someone in San Diego gas and electric territory $60 more, $319. So that's really important. That's why I kind of put both those factors in there. So we're going to combine the two, so the electric vehicle and then the home. So we're just under 13,000 kilowatt hours. So just an electricity cost, if you didn't factor in fuel, you're looking at $6,000 a year in electricity costs, almost $500 a month. Now, we designed a solar system with Enphase using just the IQ10 battery. So you get 10 kilowatt hours of storage, no backup capabilities, and we wanted to offset this usage and have a little bit of a buffer. So we have a system of 9.2, generates about 113% of your current energy usage. So you have a nice little buffer there in solar production, and then you have that battery to earn you a lot of credits during those peak discharge times in August and September. This is the cash price before the tax credit. We have the price after the tax credit. And then if you were to finance it, your 25-year payment option with the tax credit being factored in would be around $173. Now, under the new California solar billing program, it's kind of hard to completely eliminate your electric bill when you own an electric vehicle. But remember, we're saving electricity and fuel expense. So we're going to make up that. So the new electric bill, at least under Edison's structure here, as an average would be around $77 a month. So you'd have your solar payment if you financed it, plus your new electric bill with the utility company. That's about $250. That's not too bad realistically. And that's a total monthly savings. This is factoring in fuel. So this is electricity and fuel savings. That's $567. That's almost $7,000 a year. Now this is where things really start to get interesting, is in that 25-year savings. So if you take into account the cost of fuel, which in this I'm doing at $4.89, right? And you take into the current cost of electricity, which I have factored in here at an average of 46 cents. This is under Edison. And you obviously have the EV at 26 cents because the EV charges at a super off-peak rate, so that way it costs you less. And we just did a 3% annual rate increase on the cost of this energy, because fuel is still energy. You would save almost $250,000 over 25 years of owning an electric vehicle, having a solar system, and having batteries. That is a lot of money. I understand that you're probably over that 25 years going to purchase another electric vehicle. That's fine. This is showing you a model of a very inefficient electric vehicle. I mean, I wouldn't say very inefficient, but an inefficient model compared to some of the other products on the market. There are definitely some electric vehicles that are getting 3-4 miles per kilowatt hour. This e-tron is getting 2.5. That seems to be what we average. So what is your payback period? Well, on an Enphase storage only option, you're looking at 3.5 years when you have a solar system, you have batteries, and you own an electric vehicle. That's insane. You literally made back well, this is with the tax credit. So you really made back $24,000 in 3.5 years of owning those 3 items. Now, if you didn't claim the tax credit, then that's going to prolong that return on investment of another 5 years. Now, keep in mind, I'm not factoring in the cost of the electric vehicle, so that would be something you'd want to probably factor in. Now, let's take this up a notch. What if you did it with a backup system? I mean, you're doing this, you might as well get battery backup. I mean, it makes sense since you're making this investment. It's not that much more. So if we go with the Canadian Solar EP Cube, you do get a slightly larger system, so it's a 9.6, still generating about the same amount of energy over the course of the year, about 14,300 kilowatt hours. It's going to cost you, before the tax credit, just under $42,000. And this is, I was doing this on 13 kilowatt hours of storage. So I wasn't even doing this on a 10 kilowatt hour, which the Enphase storage was. So I gave you a little bit more power over here. So the price could be lower in retrospect, but it's a balancing act. I wanted to get the best return. I found that 13 kilowatt hour was a sweet spot. at least with the EP Cube. So that would give you a monthly payment of $212. That's not too bad. New electric bill, $72. So you're spending $34 a month in total in electricity costs and solar costs than you were with just not having backup. So that's not too bad if you financed it, and your monthly savings is only $34 difference. So $533 a month. Again, this is factoring in the fuel, the cost of electricity for the EV, and the cost of electricity for the home. So you have 3 things that you are saving money on by owning an electric vehicle with solar and batteries, right? So you're about $6,400 in savings. 25 years, you're looking at $233,000 in savings. Again, I did a 3% annual rate increase. That's a 4.6 rate of return. I mean, you're making back your money in less than 5 years for owning this solar system with battery backup. And this battery backup, which is right behind me, is going to last you much longer than you may realize. The Canadian Solar EP Cube has a 10-year, 80% battery retention. Their lithium iron phosphate batteries are really high end, and that's why it costs more than some of the other products on the market like Enphase and Tesla and Franklin, because they are using really high quality lithium cells for their batteries because they want it to last 20 or 30 years. Now, I understand it's only warranted for 10, but trust me, the numbers, if you look at the degradation, show that this battery is going to last much, much, much longer than many of the other products on the market. Now, if you didn't claim the tax credit, you're looking at 6.6 years roughly for your return on investment. That's really good. You now have eliminated your electric bill. You have backup power, so if the grid's been in flux in your area, you don't have to worry about it. And now you have your electric vehicle that you can charge from. Now, it's important to note, one really cool thing with the EP Cube system is they have the ability to charge your EV during a power outage. So you're not stranded if there's an ongoing power outage with this particular product, because you can charge your system during that power outage from the solar and from the battery, and they have all the settings right in the app. I've done a previous video on it, so definitely check it out. But I really wanted to just show the value of owning these 3 things because it's so much greater of a return than I think many of us realize. And once you really look at the numbers, you go, holy crap, I need to go buy a car. I need to go get me an EV and then get solar and get batteries, because you're just going to see a massive return on your money that you just can't get with just a solar system or just a battery system or just an electric vehicle. But if you add those 3 together, boom, you're just hitting home runs all day long. Now, for those of you in San Diego gas and electric territory, which their rates are really high compared to many other utility rates, and if you're PG&E, this will be very comparable to you. So we can see that the return on investment definitely improves. It knocks off a whole year for the EP Cube backup system on both scenarios, with and without the tax credit. And same with the Enphase system. You literally make back your money after the tax credit in under 3 years, or basically 3 years. Again, I'm only factoring in a 3% annual rate increase. If you want me to put this at 2%, we can do that. It's not gonna really change that rate of return because you're literally still saving $8,000 or more per year. So it just factors out how much you're saving over that period. I mean, if you put 0% inflation, $200,000, like, you are going to always have to buy electricity. If you own a combustible engine, you're always going to have to buy gas. Why not just say, screw it, I don't want to buy either, and own the energy that you generate, store it on site, and then buy an electric vehicle that uses that same energy? It literally makes complete sense, at least to me. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you're interested in getting a solar system with battery backup, we are Tesla certified, Enphase certified, Franklin certified, and of course the Canadian Solar EP Cube certified. So we can definitely help you and give you plenty of options. We have phenomenal pricing and phenomenal products. I'd love to see you as a customer. So go ahead and use that link down in the description below and request your quote from us. And while you're down there, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.